Welcome to the Hindu Center of Atlanta's weekly spiritual learning. Today we have joined with Acharya Brahmadevji. Uh, we are working on the series of practical application of yoga in daily life. Acharya Brahmadevji has had an inclusive educational background in science, banking, University of Mauritius, Management, AB UK, and Darshanacharya Vedic Philosophy, Darshan Yog Mahavidyalaya, Gujarat, India, and a diverse career in financial services, industry, and at RSF Mauritius. He has been a key resource person for RSF Mauritius on the universal Vedic value, yoga and meditation, and on interfaith and intercultural dialogue at various national and international forums. The Mauritius Council of Religious, Arya Pratinidhi Sabha America, Greater Atlanta Vedic Temple, and Hindu Center of Atlanta Yoga and Meditation Center in Cumming, Georgia. He is author of numerous insightful articles on Vedic philosophy and contemporary issues in English and in French. So, over to Acharya And Acharya, my first question would be, how is yoga related to the goals of human life?
So, first thing is to understand the goals of human life. Often, the goals of human life, people make it to be successful in life, to be rich, to be famous. So, the question is, where do we stop in these goals? Are these the real goals of life? Yeah, it's good to be successful, to be rich, to be famous. Is there an end to these? The Vedic Hindu philosophy says they are the Vaishnavas, Lokeshna, Putreshna, and Viteshna, which has no limits. Lokeshna is name and fame. Putreshna is working only for our kith and kin, children especially. We put all our life in there, and then at the end, when the children leave, we are left with pains and sorrows. And the one is fame, location, and that also has no limit. So when we look into the basics of it, when there is no limit, there's no level of satisfaction, and eventually it leads to pains and sorrows often. So the yoga philosophy defines the goals of human life as dukhon se chhutna. So when we stay away from pains and sufferings, then we can make space in life for the real goal. Dukhon se chhutna, so we leave away pains and suffering, just as we have a cupboard in our life, in our home. And in that cupboard, we have all the old stuff. Till we don't have space in there, we have to remove, declutter, and then get space where we can put new things. So in life also, we stay away from pains and sufferings, dukhon se chhotna, and then we get to sukh ki prapti. Then we can be happy. And that is more sustainable, that is more long lasting in life. And to be able to do that, we should recognize the yoga philosophy tells us Hey Hetu Han Upai. Knowledge of the causes empower us to avert pains and sufferings, afflictions, and Han Upai, then we can adopt the principles to be happy in life. Ultimately, the goal as per the Vedic philosophy, is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But when we understand and we have the knowledge of the causes of pains and sufferings and understand the principles to be happy, then we can be happier in life. And ultimately, when we are happy in life, we'll be able to walk on dharma, artha, earn, and then calm, enjoy those earnings, and ultimately go on to mukti, moksha. So the philosophy is not to stay away from material, but rather take the good things of life, enjoy in the proper way, and be happy. So, yoga, the basis of Vedic philosophy, defines it as yoga chitte vritte nirodha. Yoga chitta vritte nirodha is the silencing of the flux of mental and emotional activities. We have the varying waves in our life, even mental activities and emotional activities. It's always the ups and downs like this. It goes like waves. And when we are at the highs, we are happy. And when we are at the trough, at the lower end of the wave, there we start being in the sorrow mood. So yoga chitta vritta nirodha, it shows you how to be level-minded in all what we do, and silencing of the mental and emotional activities gets us to be better focused in life. I hope that is clear now.
Yes. So you really explained it very well. But Acharya, how does yoga help us to be better in life?
Yeah, that's good. Let's understand the origin of yoga first. Yoga is no new philosophy. Probably we've been hearing about it for the last 10, 20 years, especially with Swami Ramdev bringing it to the international level using media, TV, and other things to make it more familiar. Yoga is derived from the Vedas. The Vedas have several indications to us, like Yajurved in the 11th chapter has the first five mantras is talking about yoga. And we pronounce it as yoga because when we write it in the European script, it's YOGA, but the A is silent, so it's yoga. So there are many mantras which refer to yoga, and the root word is yuj. Like the mantra in the Yajurved says, Yunjate mana yunjate. And there's one more, I think it's the the 14th mantra of the 11th chapter of the Yajurved, which says, Yoge yoge tavastaram. So yoga, the one word, yuj, root word means to link, to join. So if we can link ourselves in whatever we are doing currently in our life to the circumstances, to the real objectives of whatever we are doing, understanding what we do, then we can be a better performer. And yoga tells us that we have a capacity, learning capacity. That learning capacity within the lower forms of life, like plants and animals, the instinctive or inborn knowledge is higher there. Because when the seed grows, sprout, the roots always go to the soil and the shoot will always go up. So the plant is growing up and the roots is growing down. Take examples, other forms of life like birds, chicks, Once they are out, they know what to eat, what to drink. Probably they stay with the mother for some time, but after, like birds, after 3 weeks, and they can start eating on them by themselves, and within 2 months they start flying on their own. But the human baby, if you don't teach the human baby what to eat, what to drink, and you don't care probably for the baby for a longer time, then it's difficult, the baby will eventually die. Take a puppy of 1 year old, put it in water, it will swim and move out. But the human baby, if you put it in water and without teaching it how to swim, eventually it will drown and die. So the level of inborn knowledge is lower, but the potential of the human mind is greater. The potential of the human mind is greater in the sense that the vast amount of knowledge that we can acquire, use our intellect, our judgment to do good things in life. This is where yoga leads us. The normal human being uses about 8% of the brain capacity. Even Einstein, who was a genius, was using about 12 to 15%. So just look at the incremental 4%. And if we do yoga correctly, we practice asanas for good physical health. But then we practice asana in the real form as it is. Sthir Sukham Asanam, as defined by Maharshi Patanjali in the Yog Darshan. So if we practice Sthira Sukham Asanam, we learn to be in one posture where we are comfortable and we can sit down over a long period of time, then we can start focusing, be better focused persons, and we can start meditating and apply that meditation in day-to-day life and be aware of what we are doing, ever aware. Whatever we are doing throughout the day, we are aware, we are fully involved, and with full awareness we are doing that. And moving in after asana, we go into pranayam. When we go into pranayam, the breathing exercises, Anulom Vilom and Kapalbhati, etc., this is good for health because it brings more and more oxygen into our bloodstream, and it is oxygen which activates the brain usage. The more oxygen the brain gets through our breathing system, the more we become mentally active and in the right direction. Because it grows with the intellect, as we say, the brain is the hardware and the intellect is the software, which enables us to judge between truth and untruth, between virtue and vice. The one is satya and asatya, the second one is dharma, adharma. And after knowing, being able to gauge the difference, we'll be able to gauge the difference also in shouldering our duties and responsibilities and avoid negligence, irresponsibility, carelessness. इसको हम आलस्य और प्रमाद बोलते हैं. उससे दूर रहेंगे और फिर अपने जो करना है उससे डटकर करेंगे. And yoga is no new knowledge. It comes to us, it flows to us from the Vedas. Maharshi Patanjali codified it, rendering it simple, and gave us the sutras, the Yoga Sutras of Maharshi Patanjali in the Yog Darshan. And sutra is knowledge in a very short form. And after that, Maharshi Vedyas expounded on it, and the best would be looking at the translations by Maharshi Vedyas. So one may understand where yoga leads us in day-to-day life, then creating better awareness to walk on the path of dharma, to use our intellect when we know what is right and what is wrong, our earth, that is, our earnings also would be sattvic, pure, then calm, enjoyment also would be on the right path, pure sattvic path, and eventually, if we walk on the path of dharma, earth, righteous earnings, and calm, righteous enjoyment. The last one would be mukti moksha, and as always refer to it as the intelligent buildings of nowadays. When you go to the door sends the human form and the door opens. But if a dog or even an elephant goes to the door, it will never open because the sensor has been designed to recognize the human body, and that's why it opens. So if we walk on dharma, artha, kam, moksha is the final door which will open if we do everything on the righteous path. I just hope I've been as simple as possible for you to make it out. You're mute, Dhananjay ji, and the others also mute. I think you can unmute them.
Yeah. Yeah, but Acharyaji, that is okay, but the uh, the one question arises is like, what is the end result of yoga?
The end result of yoga will bring you on the 8 steps: yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. So yama is the social discipline, how we should be ethical in all our dealings, whether it be within the family or society at large. And it says ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. Non-violence, ahimsa, satya, be truthful, asteya, non-stealing, don't take things without the permission of the owner, and that includes even copyright. Ahimsa, satya, asteya, then brahmacharya is self-control, self-restraint. That brings us the level-headedness, the equanimity in life. Then aparigraha is non-accumulation of superfluous or extra things in life. One example of aparigraha is, we could say it in the pandemic of COVID-19. We need probably, in a dire situation, instead of going shopping daily or weekly, we can probably buy our provisions, what we need, for 6 weeks or at the most for 3 months. But we've seen people buying as if we won't be able to get things for 1 year. And that created a shortage in the market, and others couldn't have the basics, the essentials. So that is parigraha, accumulating more than what is required for a certain period of time, or even nowadays. Like we need probably 10 sets of clothes for a year, but we have 15 in the cupboard, and we don't recall what we have. And when we just go out for shopping, we just buy. So we are working and applying our resources, and yoga shows us the path of judicious use of resources. Then niyama. Niyama are the precepts of personal discipline. Sauch, santosh, tapa, swadhyay, ishwar pranidhan. Sauch is purity, cleanliness, but it's not only physical, but it's also mental, emotional. So it's, as we say, the re-engineering of the concept of cleanliness. It includes internal and external cleanliness. Santosh tells us to be content. Then tapa is developing resilience to face contrary situations. जैसे कहते हैं ना गर्मी सर्दी भूख प्यास आदि को थोड़ा थोड़ा सहन करेंगे, then we'll learn to be compassionate. Because like we say, when we find some people hungry, we can say, okay, I can spare my lunch because I'll be having dinner. So I can spare the bottle of water which I have, I can give it to somebody who is thirsty, who is in need of that, because I'll be able to get another bottle shortly. So that's where it leads us. Soch, santosh, tapa, then swadhyay. Swadhyay means study of the scriptures, the good books of knowledge. And we can say the origin to be studied is the Ved, but then rishis have simplified it into the Upanishad, the Darshan, Shastras. And if even we can't get into that, I would say let's go into the, as we say, Panchatantra, Akbar Birbal, and things like that, which are inspiring us to become better persons. After that, Sauch, Santosh, Tapas, Swadhyay, the last one is Ishwar Pranidhan. Be aware that Ishwar God is omnipresent, omniscient, omnipresent, present everywhere. So if He's present everywhere, God being present everywhere, there is no place in this world where we can say we are alone. And on the basis of the law of karma, for every action that we'll do, there is an equal reaction that we'll get. And that is, for all positive actions that we do, we'll get the rewards of that. And for all negative actions that we do, we'll be getting the penalties of that. Where it leads us, Ishwar Pranidhan, be aware of the presence that Ishwar मुझे देख रहा है, सुन रहा है, जान रहा है. तो कर्म फल के आधार पे मैं बच नहीं सकता. So I need to be careful in life. And ultimately then we go into asana, the postures, Hatha Yoga postures for good health, for good physical health. And once we have good physical health, then only we can better manage our emotions, our mental activities. Then start with the posture by sitting down. As I said, Sthir Sukham Asanam. Be on a long posture, be better focused in life. Then pranayam for increasing the oxygen level in our body. And after pranayam, we go into pratyahar, introversion of the senses, rather than letting the senses loose. If we have control, introversion of the senses, then we can start on dharana, getting focused. Then dhyan is starting on the meditation path. Ultimately, the last goal is samadhi, where we realize ourselves. We are Atma, the soul within the body, driving this body. This is self-realization, Atma Sakshatkara. Then lead to the other thing, Prakriti Sakshatkara, the material things in this life is useful to us till the end of this life. So we make judicious use of them. And the last one is Ishwar Sakshatkar, realization of God, and start being in communion with Ishwara God. And that is the point where we are in Samadhi. And at Samadhi, when we are starting to be in communion with God, जैसे कहते हैं ना ईश्वर प्रदत्त ज्ञान, God starts giving us more and more knowledge, and that leads us to be a better person into the real life. And we'll look into the Yoga Sutras, which leads us into that. Yes, I've been a bit long on this issue, but I had to clear it first.
Yes, thank you, Acharya. Is anyone has any question? You can unmute and ask the question to Acharya. Shruti ji.
Oh, sure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate sharing the knowledge. I do have questions. If there are certain qualities that the eight qualities, like yoga, for example, ahimsa, and the non-inquiring of non-hoarding, non-taking, acquiring too many things. If we recognize, if we begin to become aware of certain behaviors in ourselves that we wish to change in terms of these, then what is the best advice in terms of beginning and staying with that change?
So I would suggest one is the practice of some asanas, some basic asanas to be physically healthy. Because once you can feel yourself a better person in the physical sense, then you can start better managing your emotions and your level of mental activities. So you go on, probably try to sit in one posture where your back, your neck, and your head is in one vertical line.
Okay.
Whether you sit on the chair, whether you're sitting on the floor, whether you're sitting on the bed, just make that practice
Okay.
of sitting in a straight vertical line so the spine is right. Then try to do some deep breathing there. And when you're doing the deep breathing exercise, long inhale and long exhale.
Okay.
Keep your focus on the nostrils, the air moving in and out.
Okay. So
And
do
the
you
best
suggest, sorry, go ahead.
and the best way to maintain that is to do Om Jap when we exhale.
Okay.
Because even Maharshi Patanjali says, Tasya Vachaka Pranava. So if you're doing jap, the best is to take the name of Ishwar God and Om. What Om does when we chant Om, it activates all these sources of our vocal activities, pronunciation.
Okay.
O starts from the belly, जिसको कहते हैं ना जठराग्नि.
Oh.
O starts there, and U, the which combines a uma. So when we are pronouncing a, it starts from the Jatharagni. U, it starts with the throat, the vocal cords, and ma activates the last phase of pronunciation, which is the head, the brain. So if you do deep breathing, the process is first you deflate the lungs and contract your belly inside, because that creates pressure on your diaphragm. And the pressure on the diaphragm will allow you to throw more air out of your lungs. But don't retain the breath now. Start with inhale and exhale. And when you inhale, the first would be to inflate the belly, the second, inflate the lungs, and the third, push the shoulders slightly up. So when you do this three-step process of inhale, and the exhale would be now, pull the shoulders down, deflate the lungs, and push the belly inside. So when you go on that three-step process, being aware of what you are doing, that awareness and the chanting of Om while exhaling will activate your body, and this is where you start managing yourself on the physical, mental, and emotional level.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Acharya. And
you were saying something, Shruti?
Yes, I was too eager. You answered my question. My question was
Okay.
going to be, when we breathe in through the nostrils, do we breathe out through the nostrils too? But then you went on to explain that when we exhale, we chant Om. So thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Acharya. Now at the end, lead us for the small
for the
meditation
job.
session. Yeah.
We'll do a short session of jap and then we'll end. So let's sit down straight, whether we're on the chair, on the floor, whatever it be, with the back, the neck, and the head in vertical line, the spine vertical. Because when we keep the spine vertical, whatever we'll be chanting, the vibrations will hit the spinal cord evenly. The spinal cord is curved. The hitting of the sound waves, the vibrations of our pronunciation will be uneven, and that creates a cacophony in our nervous system. If it's straight, then we'll earn the optimum benefits. So close the eyes gently, keep the body relaxed from head to toe. Feel the relaxation at the level of the toes, the soles, the heels, up to the knees, the hips, the back, the stomach, the thorax, the neck, the shoulders, and ultimately on our face and on the Brahmarand, the tip of our head. We'll do 4-5 times deep inhale and exhale. And while exhaling, we'll do chanting of Om vocal and gradually silencing ourselves to do Om chanting silent. And we will do the silent chanting. We'll listen to the sounds of silence, even the vibrations coming out of our silent chanting. Let's try to listen to that and see the results. So let's start with the body straight, deep breathing, focusing on the inhale, exhale, and Om chanting, gradually becoming silent chanting. Join your hands together now. Rub them slightly, not hard, just gently. Feel the energy building up there. Then cover the eyes gently. Feel the energy going into and open the eyes gradually, slowly. and over the face, relaxing the whole facial muscles, the shoulders, the arms, the neck, the back, and going down to the thighs and the knees. Feel the relaxation, the energy going all there. So I just hope that gave you an insight on feeling the breath and the chanting.
Thank you, Acharya. And now we will meet next on Friday evening, Eastern Time, US at 9 o'clock in the evening. And then on Saturday morning, 10:30 to 12 o'clock. And again on Sunday, we'll meet again. For the
Sunday will be the yoga sessions continuing probably for another 8-10 weeks.
Okay. Yes,
Okay.
Next few
Okay,
weeks.
thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste, everybody. Thanks for all joining.
Thank you. Namaste.
नमस्ते आचार्य जी।
नमस्ते जी।
मुझे थोड़ा देर हो गया ज्वाइन करने में आज।
नो प्रॉब्लम, वो यूट्यूब पे देख सकेंगे
हाँ
धनंजय
हाँ
जी
मैं देख
हंसते हैं।
लूँगी। ठीक है, नमस्ते।
ओके, नमस्ते जी, टेक केयर।